Thank you, Chair, and through you. So let's just go back to the numbers because we just need to dumb it down for me, obviously. So we're saying the total cost for 2025 is $840,000, and in 2024 we put. So from my understanding, we put away $797,000. Is that correct?
Manager Springer?
Through you, Chair. I do believe we did budget in 2024 for somewhere between $700,000 and $800,000, and so that will be a rollover. We did use part of that budget because there was some progress that was made on the design work, as well as that road that was built.
Okay, follow up, Chair, if you don't mind. Okay, so we put 700,000. We'll go the lower number for you. We put 700,000 away in 2024. Now we're estimating the cost is 840. So we have $136,000 in new expenses, but we're saying the landfill reserve is currently 495. So you need to explain this to me and to everybody else that's not understanding it. Do we actually have $700,000 sitting somewhere, or do we only have $500,000 sitting somewhere? Because here's the thing, these numbers come to us all the time, and then after the meeting we're told by staff, well, the money's actually not there. So I really want to understand this so I have a full understanding of where the money is, Chair.
And Manager Springer?
Through you, Chair, I can try to answer this question maybe with some assistance from the treasurer. So that's not what we put away, but that is what we budgeted, and I think that was primarily budgeted out of multiple reserves, not just the landfill reserve, but I think also the rolling stock reserve possibly for the excavator, which we didn't proceed with. So that is sort of where the money, how it was split up last year. So it wasn't necessarily we set it aside. That's what we budgeted.
Supplementary. And Treasurer?
We'll let the Treasurer go because she might answer my question, Chair. Thank you.
Yes, I'll just bring up the capital from 2024. Final capital budget to see where the funding was coming from. So the equipment, the landfill excavator was budgeted at $420,000, and it was budgeted to come out of the landfill reserve. The landfill trying to find it here. Landfill remediation was $377,000, and it says it was to come out of the landfill reserve. However, that was not totally used. If I look at the yearly reserves that are unbudgeted, there was also a surplus that we were anticipating from the landfill at the end of 2023 that never did get put into reserves. So it was budgeted for, but the overall surplus, if you remember, I think at the end of 2023 we actually had a small deficit at the end of 2023. But I mean, to answer this type of question at this moment, I would have to dig deeper to exactly find out what the anticipated, to find out, to give you a proper answer, which I can do, but I can't do it off the top of my head.
Thank you. And supplementary.
Through you, Chair. So I'm going to ask this question, and I hope it's answered in somewhat of a simple manner for me. So in 2024, a budget is presented to council, and we're going to use this as an example, and on a line item it says we are budgeting $797,000 for 2024 to fix the landfill. Council says we agree, we agree to this, we vote yes in favor of the $797,000. So should that, since we approved that $797,000, shouldn't that money be taken and used for this? And now I'm being told that we approved this last year, but now this money's no longer there. Do you see where I'm going with this? Because I'm being told there's no money here for it, but last year we approved it. So this is where I'm confused. Where's the $797,000 that we approved last year?
Okay, so in general, what you're asking is that if a project isn't completed in the year that it's budgeted for,
Yep.
what happens to its funds? Is it similar to what happens with our road construction projects? And the CAO, please.
Through you, Reeve, to all of council, to simplify the concept, if in 2024 it was budgeted to be pulled from reserves, there was no additional money brought in, so the amounts would still be in the reserves. Now it appears in the report that the reserves are only at $500,000, and that could be that we didn't have the full $790,000 at that time during budget for 2024. Now I know Director Jackson was not here for all of the budget last year, so unfortunately things sometimes happen when there's a changeover mid-budget process. So because it was in the reserves to fund that 797, it's not like if you didn't spend it at the end of the year, there's an extra amount that you go and put somewhere, because it was already put somewhere, but the amount that's put somewhere is that $495,000 in this report as per the unaudited numbers at the end of 2024. So really the difference that we would be looking at needing to fund would be the difference basically of that $500,000 and the total of the project, keeping in mind that a lot of the costs of these projects are likely going to go into 2026, and so you could consider leaving that portion as an unfinanced for now and deal with it in 2026. Does that simplify the concept?
It does.
Okay.
Councillor Andrew Dick, you are complete.
I just have a totally different question.
Okay, thank you. And then I'll move to Councillor Zabalski.
Thank you. This is just a real quick question, and I've asked this before, and I'm pretty sure other councillors did, but just to let the public know, this is, Chair, this is something we have to do because an auditor from the Ontario government came in, saw the problem, and we have to fix this. Correct, Chair?
No, actually, our staff noted it, and we're obligated to report it to the ministry, which we did, and then the ministry conducted a visit and gave a recommendation, which is actually loosely in order to comply.
Okay, thank you.
Is that a fair description, Manager?
Through you, Chair, that is more correct. Yes, we have currently a non-compliance. We have not received an order to comply yet. If that happens, that's not a good thing. We don't want that. The MICP has been very flexible with us so far.
Thank you. And Councillor Zabalski, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. The engineering portion that's been talked to, the WSP's approach is complex and so on, so we're getting a design from them. And then it moves down a little bit further to say the RFP process. That particular contractor would be able to partner with an engineering consultant of their choice. So with the design from WSP, will the contractor still require more engineering to how the design is applied? It's just engineers. Kind of don't want to spend any more money on engineers.
Thank you. Manager Springer, please.
Thank you, through you, Chair. It is suspected that whenever we go out to RFP, there'll be more design work that is part of that, more engineering work, not really design work. Maybe like a slope stability study or something along those lines. That has been included in the budget at an additional 18% of what we think the contracted rates are, like for the earth moving. In terms of like WSP's portion, the design work, we're using that as like a regular term that you guys are familiar with, but it's not really the appropriate term for this. There isn't really an appropriate term, but there's kind of two steps. There's the one get the MECP approval of what our limits are going to look like, and then the second part is how to actually work within those limits. WSP is going to do the first part, and then through the RFP, somebody else will figure out how to do the second part.
Thank you. And Councillor McDonald, please.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, to the manager. Is there a concrete end timeline with regard to this whole process that we're looking at?
Through you, Chair. It'll be highly dependent on the MECP's timeline for approving our ECA. But I have a personal goal of having it done at the end of 2026.
Okay, thank you. And I guess to add comment to Councillor Cebulski's question, it's been my experience that when a contractor comes in on a complex job like this, they want to have their own engineer look at it so they can use it as part of their warranty should something go wrong. And then as the owner, we like that too, because there's lots more insurance companies to draw funds from should something go wrong. Thank you. So you've heard the report and the dialogue and conversation around this. Is there anything else, Council? Seeing none, I'll ask all those in favor. Opposed? None. It's carried. Thank you. And we'll move to E13.